The day I found out my best friend had lied about my pregnancy was the day I stopped believing in friendship altogether. It wasn't just a rumor, it wasn't gossip. She told people, my family, my coworkers, even my husband, that I was hiding something, that I had lost the baby, and was pretending everything was fine. None of it was true. But her lie spread faster than wildfire, and by the time I realized what she'd done, it was too late. The damage was already done. Her name was Chloe. We'd been friends since college, roommates, soul sisters, inseparable. We finished each other's sentences, shared every secret, every heartbreak, every dream. When I got married, she was my maid of honor. When I found out I was pregnant, she was the first person I told. She cried when I told her, real tears, or so I thought. She hugged me tight and said, "You're going to be the best mom in the world." I believed her, because Chloe was more than a friend. She was family, or so I thought. Looking back, the signs were there. She'd always made little comments, disguised as jokes. "You're glowing already," she'd say. "Guess pregnancy hormones make everyone prettier." Or, "Must be nice having a husband who actually wants kids." At the time, I brushed it off. I thought she was just being playful. But now I know, those weren't jokes. They were cracks in her mask. At first, everything was fine. She came with me to doctor appointments, helped me pick baby names, even threw me a small celebration when I reached my second trimester. But around the 5th month, something shifted. She started avoiding me. Texts went unanswered. Calls went straight to voicemail. When we did talk, her energy felt cold, like she was waiting for something bad to happen. I told myself she was busy, but deep down, I felt the chill of distance growing between us. It started small, a message from a coworker. "Hey, I heard what happened. I'm so sorry." I frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" They replied, "About the baby." My heart froze. I texted back immediately, "What about the baby?" But they didn't answer. That night, I lay awake, feeling a creeping sense of dread I couldn't explain. A few days later, my mother called in tears. "Sweetheart, why didn't you tell us?" "Tell you what?" I asked, my heart racing. "That you lost the baby." I felt the ground disappear beneath me. "Mom, that's not true." She hesitated. Chloe said, I didn't even let her finish. "Chloe said what?" "She told us you were struggling, that you didn't want to talk about it yet." Oh, May, we were so worried. My hands shook as I hung up the phone. I sat in silence for a long time, trying to process it. Chloe, my best friend, had told the world I'd lost my baby. A lie so cruel, so personal, I couldn't understand why. But deep down I knew it wasn't an accident. It was jealousy, wrapped in fake concern. And I had no idea yet just how far she was willing to go. After that phone call with my mother, everything started unraveling. Friends stopped asking about the baby. My coworkers gave me soft, pitying smiles. Even my husband Ryan began acting strange, distant, careful, like I might break if he said the wrong thing. At first I didn't understand. Then it hit me. They all believed her. They believed Chloe. The woman I trusted most had rewritten my story, and everyone was reading her version. I called Chloe immediately. She answered on the second ring, her voice calm, too calm. "Hey May, how are you feeling?" My words came out shaky. "Don't play dumb. Why are people saying I lost the baby?" There was a pause, then a sigh. "Oh May, I didn't mean for it to spread. I was just worried. You hadn't posted anything lately. You weren't answering texts. I thought maybe something happened." "Something happened because you told everyone," I snapped. Her tone sharpened. "Don't blame me for people caring about you." And just like that, she turned herself into the victim. That night I tried to explain it to Ryan. "She's lying," I said. "I don't know why, but she's telling everyone I lost the baby." He frowned, rubbing his temples. "May, maybe she misunderstood? Maybe she thought—" "Ryan, no, she made it up." He sighed. "You and Chloe have always been close. Are you sure you're not reading too much into this?" The words hit harder than I expected. Even my own husband was doubting me. That's what lies do. They plant seeds of doubt where trust used to live. Days turned into weeks, and the whispers didn't stop. Everywhere I went, I felt eyes on me. Sympathy mixed with curiosity. People would lower their voices when I passed by. At the grocery store, an old neighbor patted my shoulder. "You're so brave, dear. Time heals everything." I smiled tightly, too exhausted to explain anymore. It was like living inside someone else's tragedy. One evening, Ryan came home early. He looked pale, holding his phone in one hand. "May," he said quietly, "Chloe came by my office today." My stomach dropped. What? She told me you're not doing well, that you're pretending the pregnancy is still happening to cope. I froze. She said that to you? He nodded slowly. She showed me a message thread, screenshots, May, from someone claiming to be your doctor. My world tilted. What message thread? He swallowed hard. They said you had complications, that you didn't want to tell anyone. It felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. This wasn't gossip anymore. This was sabotage. She had proof. Fake proof, but proof nonetheless. And now, even my husband wasn't sure what to believe. I felt tears burn my eyes. Ryan, you've seen the ultrasounds. You've been to the appointments. He hesitated. I know, but she seemed so concerned. That's the thing about a good liar. They don't just deceive others. They make the truth sound like manipulation. And Chloe was a master at it. That night, lying awake beside Ryan, I made a decision. If Chloe wanted to play this game, if she wanted to destroy my life piece by piece, then she was about to find out that she wasn't the only one who could fight back. Because this time, I wasn't going to sit quietly and let her write my story. I was going to expose her and make sure everyone saw who she truly was. The next morning, I could barely look at Ryan. Every time our eyes met, I saw the doubt Chloe had planted. He didn't say it out loud, but I could feel it. The question he didn't want to ask. What if Chloe's right? And that silent doubt was worse than any argument. I spent hours replaying everything in my mind. The fake concern in Chloe's voice, the pitying looks from people I loved, the screenshots she supposedly had. I realized then that I couldn't just tell people she was lying. I had to prove it, so I made myself a promise. I was going to find out exactly what she said, to whom, and how far she'd gone. And when I did, I'd make sure she never fooled anyone again. My first step was simple. I called my doctor. Dr. Patel, I'm sorry if this is a strange question, I said, my voice shaking. But has anyone called you pretending to be me? She sounded surprised. Pretending to be you? No, but we did get a request for confirmation about your last appointment. Someone claiming to be a family member. My throat tightened. What did they say? They said you'd lost the baby and were too emotional to talk about it. Of course, we didn't give them any information. We just said we couldn't disclose patient details. My stomach turned. That family member could only have been one person, Chloe. I went home and started digging. Old texts, social media posts, even her recent messages to Ryan. I still had her contact saved in his phone from before all this started. And that's when I saw it. She had deleted most of her messages with him, but not all. One remained, a photo of her hand on my stomach, captioned, "Hard to believe this ended so soon." The timestamp made my blood run cold. She'd sent it the day before she told everyone I lost the baby. She had planned it. Every word, every concerned call, every tear, it was all part of her story. For days, I asked myself why. Why would someone I'd loved and trusted so deeply invent something so cruel? The answer came during a conversation with a mutual friend, Leah. "May," she said gently, "I think she was jealous of everything. Your marriage, your pregnancy, your happiness. She said once that you got everything she ever wanted." I felt my throat tighten. So that was it. She didn't just want to hurt me. She wanted to be me. That night, I sat alone in the nursery, the one Ryan and I had been decorating together. Tiny shoes on the shelf, a soft blanket folded on the crib. All the love and hope that room represented felt tainted now, touched by Chloe's cruelty. But instead of crying, something else settled in me. Resolve. I was done being her victim. If Chloe wanted to drag me through the mud, then she was about to get dirty too, with her own lies. I picked up my phone, opened my notes app, and typed one sentence: "Expose Chloe's lies." And underneath it, I started listing everything she'd said, everyone she'd told, every piece of proof she had faked. Because if she wanted to play with my life, I was going to make sure she never had another chance to ruin anyone else's again. Once I decided to expose Chloe, everything changed. I stopped reacting emotionally and started thinking strategically. If she wanted to play games, fine. I'd play smarter. I began collecting everything: messages, screenshots, timestamps, even voice memos. Every time she slipped up, every time she contradicted herself, I recorded it. I knew she'd eventually try to twist my words again, so I needed undeniable proof. And I got it sooner than expected. One night, I texted her from a new number, pretending to be someone from a local parenting group. I wrote, "Hi Chloe, this is Anna from the community board. We heard about May's loss and wanted to confirm if it was true before posting a message of support." Within 5 minutes, she replied, Yes, it's true. She hasn't accepted it yet, but she'll come around soon. That was all I needed, her own words confirming her lie. The next day I went to the police. I wasn't sure if they'd take me seriously, but I had to try. I showed them the fake screenshots she had sent to Ryan, the texts, and the impersonation attempt to my doctor's office. The officer looked at me carefully. "This is identity misrepresentation and potential defamation. We can file a report." For the first time in months, I felt hope. But that hope didn't last long. When Chloe found out I'd gone to the police, she went silent, completely silent. No texts, no calls, no posts. It was eerie, almost like she was watching me, waiting for me to make my next move. Ryan noticed too. "Maybe she realized she went too far," he said one night. I wanted to believe that. I really did. But deep down, I knew Chloe better than anyone. She wasn't done, not yet. One evening, I came home to find an envelope taped to my door. No return address, just my name and her handwriting. Inside was a printed email, one I had supposedly sent to her. It said, "You'll regret ever crossing me. You'll pay for what you did." I never wrote that. But the timestamp, the fake email address, it looked real enough to fool anyone. A few hours later, Ryan got a call from one of our friends, Leah. "May, what's going on?" she asked. "Chloe told everyone you threatened her." That's when I realized the truth. Chloe wasn't running away. She was escalating. I sat there holding the fake email, my heart pounding. For a moment I wanted to give up, just walk away from it all. But then I remembered the nursery, the soft blue blanket, the tiny shoes, and the promise I'd made to myself. No, she wasn't going to win. So I took every piece of evidence I had, all the lies, the messages, the recordings, and gave them to the detective handling my report. He nodded slowly as he scrolled through the screenshots. "She's not just spreading rumors," he said. "She's fabricating evidence. This is serious." A week later, Chloe was called in for questioning, and suddenly her silence made sense. She'd been preparing, deleting things, covering her tracks, trying to rewrite her story one last time. But she couldn't erase what I had. When she realized the police had her messages, she panicked. She called me crying, begging me to fix this. "May, please," she sobbed. "I didn't mean for it to go this far." I took a deep breath, my voice steady. "You didn't mean for it to go this far, or you didn't mean to get caught?" There was a pause. Then the line went dead. That was the last time I ever spoke to her. After that, she moved out of town, disappeared, like a ghost trying to outrun her own lies. But she couldn't escape what she'd done. Not this time. Her reputation, her friends, her credibility, all gone. Every bridge she built on deception burned down behind her. And as for me, I rebuilt. Slowly, carefully. Ryan apologized over and over for not believing me sooner, and I forgave him. Because doubt is a powerful weapon, one Chloe had wielded with precision. But truth lasts longer. I still get messages sometimes from people asking what really happened. And I tell them the same thing every time. Believe actions, not words. And never underestimate how far a liar will go to protect her story. Because Chloe taught me something no one else ever could. That monsters don't always hide in the dark. Sometimes they sit across from you at brunch, smiling, asking how your baby's doing. And when you finally see them for who they are, you'll never unsee it. It's been over a year since Chloe disappeared. Sometimes I still think about her. Not out of anger anymore, but out of disbelief. How someone could look you in the eye, smile, and destroy you at the same time. How friendship can turn into warfare without warning. People like her don't just lie to others. They lie to themselves so completely that they start believing their own stories. I used to wonder if she ever regretted it, if she ever looked back and thought about the damage she caused. But then I realized, people like Chloe don't feel guilt. They feel loss. The loss of control, of power, of attention. And that's what drives them mad. There's something haunting about that kind of person. They'll smile in your face, whisper behind your back, and when you finally confront them, they'll act like you're the problem. And maybe that's the scariest part. They truly believe it. When I walk past the nursery now, it's different. The room that once held pain and anger now feels peaceful again, because I took back what she stole from me, my truth. It wasn't easy rebuilding after everything she broke. But pain has a strange way of clarifying things. It shows you who people really are, and who you really are. I learned that silence can be strength, that not every battle needs shouting. Some are won quietly, with evidence, with truth, with time. And sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. It's peace, because peace means she no longer controls the story. I do. Now, when people ask me what happened to Chloe, I just smile and say, she's gone. But her lies aren't my problem anymore. And in that moment, I feel lighter, because I finally understand closure isn't something you find in others. It's something you give yourself. So if you've ever been betrayed, if someone twisted your truth, stole your peace, rewrote your story, remember this. You don't need to fight fire with fire. You just need to stop feeding their flame and let the truth eventually burn them on its own.